Video games are definitely one of the most major parts of my childhood. Whenever I got home from school, I would have a snack, toss my backpack onto my bed, and play for at least an hour. On the weekends, I would play even longer than that. When my friend Peyton came over to my house or I came over to his, we would always play one of our favorite games first thing. The most fond memories I have of playing video games are from the PlayStation 2. Just turning on the console and hearing the loud yet soothing sounds it makes from the TV when it starts up sparks joy in my soul. Although I do own a Nintendo 64, which does have a good selection of fun games that I play sometimes, I find myself using the PlayStation 2 more often. There is something about it that grabs my attention the most. It might be because of the huge library of games that it has seems more enjoyable and appeals more to my interest and personality. Whatever the reason may be, the PS2 will always hold a near and dear place to my heart. Today is my day off, so I got some time to play some video games. Unfortunately, I don't have the console with me. I still have the games for it, but I forgot the PS2 at my parents' house, which is foolish of me to do. I'm currently out of state doing graphic design for a company. I could get it back from my parents during my vacation time, but it's a long while from now. I can't ask Peyton either because he's also out of state, working as a game designer for Sony. The only option left is to buy a temporary PlayStation 2 off of eBay. I power walk upstairs to my room, sit in my swivel chair, boot up my computer, and begin my search. After typing PlayStation 2 into the search bar, a bunch of results pop up. However, most of the results show PS2 games, controllers, memory cards, and accessories. So I filter my search of consoles only. This helps a lot, but now I have another problem. Some of the first 10 results are listed have expensive prices. Although I have plenty of money to afford these prices, I am not willing to pay for a console that high of a price only to use it for a short time until I get mine back from my parents' house. Then I sort the prices from the lowest to highest. By doing so, the first result that pops up catches my eye with great interest. It's a PlayStation 2, but a slimmer version and coated with a cherry red hue that comes with a controller. Amazing, I say to myself in awe. I never saw a PS2 in that color before. Normally I would see this console come in black at the local game and retail stores back in my hometown. Another unusual thing I noticed about this particular console is that it's marked at a dirt cheap price of $5. Then I begin reading the description while having a big smile on my face. It states that this red PS2 is supposedly an unreleased copy that never reached public view. Then my joy quickly turned to curiosity. But why is the question that floats around in my mind. I presume that this person must have worked with Sony in making a prototype version of the PS2 Slim, but the one thing that is being sold was probably rejected and wants to get rid of it. I checked to see the person's contact information so I could find out what the reason is for it being unreleased to the public. Unfortunately, the only information displayed on the website is the person's username, BadDreamer18, with their profile picture of some kind of creepy cartoon character with black skin, a wry smile, and big snake eyes. Could be from an anime or a comic that I never heard of or seen of. Well, since I stumbled on a rare yet cheap find, I might as well take advantage of this opportunity while I can. Looks like my luck has changed for the better, I say after confirming my purchase. 4 days have gone by since I ordered that red PS2, and today is my day off, which is a perfect time to use that console. Suddenly I hear a doorbell. I'm filled with enthusiasm at this point. I walk over to the front door, open it, and check to see the package has arrived. The wait is finally over. My pupils dilate wide open as I gaze upon the box laying on my welcome mat. Picking up the package feels like I found the lost chalice. After all I went through, playing some nostalgic games will feel so rewarding. I rush to the kitchen to find something to open the box, pull out a steak knife, and swiftly cut through the tape to reveal the red console along with the cords, memory card, and controller it came with. There it is in all of its glory, but no time to waste now. I jog upstairs to my room, hook up the cables from the PlayStation 2 to my TV, insert the memory card, then I turn on the console. I begin to hear the startup sound it makes from the TV when powered on. A flood of nostalgia comes right through me. While it is certainly loud, I don't care because I'm ecstatic right now. However, there's something a little off. It sounds normal at first, but then I faintly hear screaming afterwards, like from the tormented souls of the damned. The PlayStation 2 is an older console, so maybe it aged so much that it's causing the sound to be a little distorted. I'm not going to let a slightly spooky sound get in the way of me reliving my childhood. While that's out of the way, the screen transitions to the red screen of death, as most gamers like to call it. This indicates that a game disc is not inserted or might be damaged. With all the excitement, I forgot to put in a game into the disc tray. I pull out the box full of video games and choose which game I want to try out first. And as I do so, I listen to the sounds from the TV while the red screen of death is still going on in the background. It sounds awfully like low-pitched moaning and groaning that has been slowed down. Then I notice the sound gradually gets louder and louder. Before the moans and groans break the sound barrier, I turn off the console to continue looking for a game to play. I don't remember the red screen of death making those noises before. It usually sounds like the hissing of mist. Then again, this red console has never been released, so the developers were possibly experimenting with the noises at the time. I keep digging through the selection of games available in my box and pull out LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, which is an all-time classic. I put the game in the disc tray, turn on the console, and hear the startup sound again. This time everything is going smoothly, and PlayStation 2 materializes on the screen. For a split second, though, the text turned a deep red color. Must be a visual display glitch. After about a minute of animations of the logos for the companies that developed this game, it finally starts, and I hear this theme from the Star Wars play on the title screen. Ah, memories. Then I select a new game and begin playing. The first level, which takes place in Episode 1, is exactly how I remember it. I play it as a LEGO version of Qui-Gon Jinn, along with young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Destroy LEGO battle droids and use my Force abilities throughout the level. I'm having so much fun. When I get to the second level of Episode 1, things start to get strange. Jar Jar Binks' appearance doesn't show all of his textures, and his character model is choppy and glitchy. And what sucks is that the game won't let me switch to him when I want to. Only the computer moves him around. While the game usually does control the other characters when playing in single-player mode, it shouldn't be able to deny me use of playing as Jar Jar Binks. As I progress through the level, the platforms in the background gradually degrade and become corrupted to the point that they don't even resemble natural terrain. Even the skies turn into a garbled up mess of random colors. Then the game crashes so much that it cuts to a black screen. I take out the disc and put it back in its holder. I know games tend to glitch out and crash, but this seems more out of the ordinary. However, the disc I own is barely scratched. Maybe the console messes up whatever game I put in, but that sounds far-fetched to me. Probably the console read the disc improperly. I have no idea, but I'll try a different game anyway. I took a look again inside the box of video games until I find another game. It is the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which is a game based off of the movie, which is based off the cartoon series. I loved the SpongeBob movie as a kid, and I still do to this day, so I know this game will be as fun as it was when I first played it. From what I recall, this game was challenging, and the sections would infuriate me years back, and I could not complete the game after the halfway point. But I still enjoyed it nevertheless. This time, I plan on finishing the most rage-inducing level of the game. Welcome to playing topless, minions. I've heard this is the specific level is the most difficult part of the whole game. Since I'm much older and more knowledgeable, I feel confident that I can conquer this arduous level. I insert the disc in the console, watch the PlayStation 2 text materialize again, skip the animations of the logos, and wait for the game to load. It seems like the console's reading the disc better now than the LEGO Star Wars one. The music for the title and the menu screen starts playing. It sounds like an upbeat tune which makes me feel happy again, and I have a little dance. When I decide to stop, I select new game, like I did with the previous game. The beginning cutscenes appear on the screen, and I watch them in their entirety. As soon as the cutscene finishes with SpongeBob saying to Mr. Krabs, "Get a hold of yourself, Eugene. I'm going in," the first level begins. I then proceed to pause the game. Like in the movies, playing topless is near the end of the game, except the movie shows brief scenes of the city. I obviously can't access the level since I just started the game. Luckily though, I know a secret cheat code that I found online from my gaming website. This code allows me to enter any level I want. I press the 4 buttons on my controller in a sequential order, and then I hear a little jingle letting me know that the code is correct. As I expected, the level select screen shows me all the available levels in the game. Yes! I exclaim. Gotta love the internet! Using the analog joystick, I scroll down to the playing topless level, select the first section with the X button, and wait while the game is loading. The level abruptly starts right after the game finishes loading. I realize something is definitely wrong. SpongeBob doesn't have his yellow textures that he's supposed to have. Instead, his whole character model is gray. Also, Mindy's communicator, which is an oyster shell, is missing. Usually she appears on there when playing on a platform section of the game to grant SpongeBob or Patrick their new power move, and playing topless is a platformer. I then observe the layout of the level, and it looks dramatically different than what I'm seeing on walkthrough videos. The sky that is supposed to be orange is now a dark red with dark gray clouds. The ground is no longer a sand texture, but now a fleshy one. It looks like a photographic image of someone's flesh that has been cut up. The buildings look the same as they normally do, but Plankton's statues are replaced with statues of some kind of humanoid creatures holding either pitchforks or tridents. And the original music, which is intended to be scary, now sounds terrifying with its ghastly and haunting vocals singing, hearts beating and drums echoing. Almost like the music from Doom 64, it's enough to give me goosebumps. As I delve further into the level, the enemies have changed from cartoonish fish with Plankton's bucket helmets into these half-dead aquatic animals with their sharp teeth and skeletons exposed. Just the sight of them makes me cringe in disgust. While I can still fight them, their health is vastly higher than SpongeBob's, which is 3, so I try to attack without giving them enough time to deal damage back. I now embark on the lava lakes. The textures seem like they came straight from a volcano, unlike the game's quality graphics. I jump as SpongeBob onto the platforms leading to the other side, but they submerge very fast, so I have to act fast. On top of that, there are more enemies floating over some of the platforms as if it isn't already difficult enough. They begin to spit up mucus projectiles at me, but thankfully SpongeBob can send them back, which actually does some damage. I somehow managed to make it across with only 2 health left. When I look to the right, I see a porta potty close by. This means I can change to Patrick. After I do, Patrick's textures have changed as well. His eyes are now pitch black and he's covered in organic muscle tissue, which makes my eyes open wide. He also has a sad and scared facial expression as he looks around this nightmare realm of a level. I feel sorry for him and I shed a small tear for some reason. I know very well that he is a fictional character, but something in me makes me feel sympathetic. Moving on, I noticed an icy fruit, which is supposed to turn the lava into an ice plane when Patrick throws in it. However, as soon as the icy fruit hits the surface of the lava, it just melts immediately. What's the point of having these things if they don't do what they're intended to do? Eventually, I make it to Plankton's temple, and the entrance is guarded by those same enemies. I use Patrick's throwing and belly slam abilities to fight off this horde of monsters. I finally beat them one by one with only 1 life remaining. I have to be very cautious when I travel through Plankton's temple. Once I'm inside, I analyze the traps that are ahead of me. Large spikes on the floor and the walls, fire pits, more half-dead fish, and colliding walls. I remember this section of the actual game having spikes and enemies, but not those other traps. I do my best to avoid all the obstacles as Patrick to the best of my ability, only to lose my last life. The screen fades to black. Oh, it's no big deal, I say to myself as to not feel as bad for dying in the game. I'll just respawn at the previous checkpoint. How wrong I am. The screen remains black for a good 30 seconds until big red text saying, "Game over," appears on the TV screen. Then I hear a masculine voice whispering the same words through the speakers, which startles me and makes me think that there's someone behind me. That's when I decide to take out the disc and put it back in the video game box. Is this disc I own a modded version of the game to look creepy? I think to myself, no, it can't be. There is no way this is a mod of the SpongeBob movie game. I vividly remember this game as a simple and normal platformer. Nobody has tampered with this disc. If that's the case, the only cause of these horrific visuals has to be that cherry red PlayStation 2. But how and why is the console trying to tell me something? Is the PS2 capable of supernatural powers? It has to be, since it's corrupting and twisting the games into frightening and gruesome imagery. I start to contemplate whether I should try to understand what the console is telling me, or to just stop playing and move on from this. Dwelling on those disturbing moments pulls me away from playing, yet my curiosity wants to know more and figure out the message. After about 5 minutes of thinking, I come to the conclusion of taking a break by going outside and getting some fresh air. It's a crystal clear day, so it's a perfect opportunity. I come back inside from the backyard, now feeling refreshed and relaxed, ready to play another game. I head straight out for the box one last time and start looking around. I bring out one of the games from the Devil May Cry series. Without thinking about it too long, I put the disc in the PlayStation 2 and wait for the game to start. This time, no animations for the logos appear on the screen. Not even any still images of the logos or text, just a black screen. I sit there on the floor, embracing for what's to come next, since I know what to expect, or so I think. The screen cuts to ignited and disfigured human bodies with hollow eye sockets burning alive and screaming to the top of their lungs in agony while the background is on fire. They seem like actual humans suffering on camera. I jump back in fear and surprise. The screams are so loud that my ears start ringing. My heart pulsates faster than ever before. My skin and face turn paler than snow. I hyperventilate so much, trying to calm myself down a little, and it doesn't stop there. The screen changes to what seems like a pile of aborted fetuses with their placentas intact and still moving, while the screaming is still going on. On top of that, there are these big tapeworm-like creatures squirming over them. The sight of it all makes me so nauseous that I start gagging and vomiting right on my carpet floor. I even tear up. After that, I see mangled and mutilated figures drenched in blood crawling over organic matter, begging and pleading for mercy. They scream for help, but there is none. They struggle to move as there is nothing they can do. I feel so bad for them. I really want those. I want to help those people. I want to help those tormented souls, but I know there is no possible way I can. What in Mother's name is happening? I yell out in insanity. Make it stop! The screen returns to the burning bodies. They are still screaming, but now they're banging on the doors screen violently, as they're desperate to find a way out of this inferno. I don't know why I'm still watching this madness unfold. This has to end. I get up without hesitation and walk over to the power outlet where the plug to the PlayStation 2 is located. Before I yank the cord, all of the screaming and cries for help come to a complete stop. Dead silence. I breathe heavily and start sweating as if I ran a marathon. Once I feel calm enough, I sigh in relief that the worst is over. However, there is one last thing that appears on the screen. What you have seen is the window to hell. Be wary of your sins and repent, or you will know what true suffering feels like. I stand in my room, shocked like a deer in headlights. I'm in total disbelief of what I just saw. My jaw is hanging wide open as I'm at a loss for words. When I finally get back to my senses, I pull off the power cord of the PlayStation 2, remove the disc from the tray, and put it back in the box. I don't touch that god-forsaken console nor the games for the rest of the day. From the day I touched that console until now, it has been over a week. I have some days here and there of restless nights. Even when I do sleep, I get graphic and vivid nightmares, and I don't fall back asleep for the rest of the night. I also start questioning what life, death, and reality are at this point. Is hell real? Were those grotesque and loathsome scenes indeed real? Was the message of the console was trying to tell me? Was this the message of the console was trying to tell me the whole time? These thoughts flood my mind whenever I have the time to sit down and think. Sometimes I wonder if religion can be true. Other times I reflect back on the terrible things I've done to people I know and love. I may have committed some things that are considered sinful, but they're in the past and I've changed my behavior as I matured. Every time I go to work, I don't have the motivation anymore to accomplish any task. My coworkers and my boss notice this and ask me what happened, since they won't believe me if I tell them the events I experienced. I lie by saying, I'm just remembering the loss of my grandparents. They feel very sorry for my loss and advise me to take some vacation time, which is what I'm currently doing. Speaking to my friends and family on the phone is therapeutic to me, but it's only a temporary feeling. I try watching some shows on TV, but that doesn't help. I try reading some books, no good. Going for a walk soothes me until I get back home. Out of curiosity, I decide to call Peyton to see if he has any idea about this console and to see if he is Bad Dreamer 18. Since he works for Sony, he must have some idea about this prototype. I take out my cell phone and dial Peyton's number and wait for him to answer. "Hey, Brian," Peyton exclaims. "It's great to hear from you again. So how have you been doing?" "It's been alright," I say in a depressing tone. "I'm just not feeling the same as before." "What's wrong, bro? I hate for you to feel down in the dumps. Anything bad happened to you recently?" "Actually, yes, as a matter of fact." I then explained to him the summary of my encounter with the horrible piece of junk. He may not believe me, but it's worth a shot. "Whoa, really?" Peyton says out of shock. "That's insane." "It definitely is. I was hoping you could shed some light on this red PS2, since you're a game expert and all. Honestly, I have never heard of a red PlayStation 2 in my life, and I highly doubt Sony would ever make a console do messed up things to their own games." "I guess you're right. So that must mean you're not Bad Dreamer 18 at all." "Of course that's not me. Why would I sell something haunted like that?" "Yeah, this is a silly thought. Well, thank you for talking with me about my situation, Peyton. It really helps me a lot." "No problem, Brian. I'll always be there for you when you need it. Alright, talk to you again some other time. Good luck with your next game." Then we both hang out. Just looking at the console gives me PTSD to this day. I plan on never using that red PlayStation 2 again. I don't want anything to do with that damn thing. I could give it to someone else, but I wouldn't even want my greatest enemies to deal with the same problems as I do. I then decide to destroy it once and for all. I go to my garage with the cursed console, grab a sledgehammer, and repeatedly bang the living daylights out of it on the ground until it's dozens of pieces. Letting out my frustration on a hunk of junk feels like it just took a load off my back. After calming down, I head to the living room to relax on the couch. Later that night, while I'm in bed, I start thinking about that person who was the one who sold the console, Bad Dreamer 18. I never actually got to know who that was. I see why he or she would want to get rid of that possessed thing. However, they lied about the red PS2 being an unreleased copy that was never released to public eyes. At first, I get a little upset, but I wouldn't blame them for doing that, because they would never convince anybody to take it off of their hands. I slowly doze off to sleep at that point. Sometime later, I hear knocking on the glass of my bedroom window. As I bolt up from bed, from first glance, I assume it's just a tree branch slightly tapping on the window while the wind of the cold night blows on me. Then I take a closer look. I then see that same creature from Bad Dreamer 18's profile picture with black skin, a wry smile, and big snake eyes. I get startled by that thing and cower in fear. Then it says only one thing to me. You have been warned.